Hello there. Thanks for tuning in to Jamaica Magazine. I'm Tamara McHale. In today's show, Becoming Career Ready. Also, the National HIV and AIDS Workplace Policy is set to assist in developing a caring, supportive and responsible working environment that will protect all workers. And later, we look at entrepreneurship options for our youth. Stay tuned. The magazine unfolds right now.
A healthy and educated people living in a clean, natural environment, reducing crime, improving the justice system and governance, building a prosperous economy. It's not just a vision, it's reality. Learn about the plan. Join the vision.
My country, Jamaica, has a rich heritage and is very unique. If we all pull together, we can make it the place of choice to live, work, raise family, and to do business.
For more information on Vision 2030, call the Planning Institute of Jamaica or visit vision2030.gov.jm, your parish library, school library, or the Jamaica Information Service.
Good day, I'm Andrea Chizom and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, May 25. July 1, 2016 is the effective date for a raft of housing benefits announced by Prime Minister Andrew Holness in his budget presentation yesterday. The measures are intended to broaden access to financing for NHT contributors. Simone Wolf has the details.
As it now stands, people who earn up to $7,500 per week access National Housing Trust NHT mortgage loans at no interest rate. But in just over a month, that benefit will be expanded to those who earn as much as $12,000 weekly. In addition, those who take home between that amount and $20,000 per week will benefit from a 2 percentage point reduction in their interest rates. A similar 2% reduction will apply to NHT contributors earning between $20,001 and $30,000 weekly. The Prime Minister said those modifications would cost the NHT $1.58 billion in foregone interest revenue over the 4-year period of fiscal years 2016-2017 to 2019-2020.
This new policy change of the government will positively impact more than 70% of prospective mortgagors, significantly increasing the amounts that they can afford to borrow.
People who take home more than $30,000 weekly will continue to pay at the highest interest rate of 6%. Public sector workers, meanwhile, will continue to benefit from a further 1% reduction in their interest rates, while the 2% discount to the disabled and senior citizens will also maintain. Prime Minister Holness also announced that qualified persons would soon be able to receive a $1.5 million home grant from the NHT, up from $1.2 million. And 3 years is to be shaved off the previous requirement of needing to contribute for 10 years before being eligible.
An individual would now access the home grant in the 8th year of contributing to the trust. This will take effect on July 1, 2016.
The NHT will also increase its house lot loan limit from $1.5 to $2 million. The Prime Minister informed Parliament that these measures were part of a broader plan to reform the National Housing Trust.
There is consensus that the National Housing Trust is in need of reform. The government will facilitate a process of public dialogue on the way forward for the NHT. It's not to be a commercial operation. It is to make sure that the workers of the country have access to housing.
Simone Wolf reporting for JIS News.
While making his contribution to the budget debate yesterday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness also announced that over the next 3 years, the NHT would partner with private and public sector entities to develop more than 10,000 housing solutions for contributors. These developments will be built in St. James, Manchester, Hanover, St. Elizabeth, Trelawney and St. Catherine. That parish is also the site for a separate $5 billion housing development.
There is a significant effective demand for houses in the urban areas of Kingston and St. Andrew and St. Catherine. To this end, The NHT will partner with the Urban Development Corporation to develop 700 solutions on lands in the Caymanas area.
Meanwhile, 2,000 service lots will be delivered over the next 2 years to persons earning below $12,000 weekly for between $1.8 and $2.4 million. And $1 billion has been reserved for housing solutions and community development projects for tourism workers. The Prime Minister also addressed the troubling issue of crime in his budget speech.
I am convinced, Mr. Speaker, that we will need to take bold and decisive measures in order to significantly reduce the incidence of crime and violence in our country. Due to the sensitive nature of some of the countermeasures required, we will not be spending too much time discussing publicly some of the strategies.
Among the measures announced was the introduction of a special stream within the court system for the prosecution and the trial of murders to greatly expedite the process. In addition, legislation will be amended to introduce mandatory minimum sentences for certain crimes, while the Bail Act will be amended so that persons charged with murder will be ineligible for bail under certain circumstances. A domestic violence coordinator will also be installed at every police station, and over a 3-year period, the number of policemen and women in the force will be increased from 12,000 to 14,000. To ground these and other measures, the Prime Minister asserted that the political directorate needed to send a strong message of solidarity to criminals.
I don't see how we are going to tackle crime if the criminals feel that there is a political divide on the resolve to deal with crime. And I am proposing, Leader of the Opposition and spokesperson on national security, that we somehow have to meet one-on-one and determine how we make a political pact against crime in this country.
In other news, the services of the Legal Aid Council are to be expanded. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck says the Citizen Security and Justice Program CSJP has partnered with the council to embark on a mobile justice unit.
Not many persons can really go into a lawyer office and access that service. We think that the Legal Aid Council is doing a great job to ensure that the citizens of Jamaica, all the citizens, that none is deprived of legal advice, legal service, and ability to access justice in the courts.
Minister Chuck was speaking with JIS News at the Legal Aid Council's recent Justice Fair, which was funded in part by the CSJP. And finally, the Ministry of Health is taking steps towards improving patient access to medication in a more timely, efficient, and convenient way. Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says this is to be achieved by partnering with private pharmacies.
Frankly speaking, it is possible to have the private pharmacies administer the public drug. It's done under the Drug for Elderly program, it's done under specific programs such as AIDS, medication, and so on. So I've asked the NHF, chaired by Mr. Chris Zaka, to immediately convene a subunit committee to look at how, over the next year or so, we can begin to roll out and utilize through some public-private partnership arrangement the public drugs through the private pharmacies.
And that's it for JIS News today. Amandra Chisholm, thank you for watching.
I'm sure you've seen them before. Children happily clad in all sorts of uniforms and gears that represent the career they hope to pursue. Watch now as we highlight just how much this Career Day exercise is benefiting our little ones.
In today's show, we journey to the John Austin All-Age School in the hills of Clarendon to observe just how Career Day helps to make our children and young people career ready.
Career Day is the day that we say to our schools that they should introduce their students to various careers. What we want is for practitioners to come into the schools to really introduce to the students what it takes to get into the field of study, and when they're in the field of study, what it takes to stay there.
Any profession you want to go into, be it nursing, be it catering, be it medicine, be it the field of the constabulary or whatever, you must be determined. You must have a focus. Listen to your teachers in the class. Listen to what they teach you. And if you don't understand, ask questions.
You have to study. You have to study really hard. It's not the brightest person that becomes the best doctor. You know. It's the one that actually goes home, reads every day, gets more acquainted with knowledge, that becomes the better doctor.
Do the most important things first. So for instance, I have to eat, and I have to write a story, and I have to go outside and play. Which one am I gonna do first? Write a story. Some persons might say they will eat first. But which one are you gonna do last though? Play.
I believe the children are.
We want to ensure that our children are exposed to the many different skills and occupations that there are, so that when they get older they can make informed decisions.
They will know what they want and they will do the necessary preparation.
It helps the students to focus, it helps them to be what they want to become, it encourages them, and it motivates them.
They will find it exciting to learn more about the profession they are interested in.
While students of the John Austin All-Age School receive knowledge on various careers, Grade 2 students of the Immaculate Conception Preparatory School received first-hand experience during a tour of our GIS television department.
I just thought it was so amazing to watch them and to see their little minds just grasp everything. I think it is an experience they will carry with them for the rest of their lives, because it is probably the first and maybe the only opportunity they will ever have to view something like this.
So it's very good from very early to teach them the different occupations and professions that they can go into.
It involves acknowledging that there are different opportunities that are available. Opportunities that were not available 10 years ago are not available to our children currently. I think that tours are very, very important, and the more companies that will open up their doors to these sorts of tours, the students coming to see what happens on a day-to-day, I think it will augur well for us, ensuring that more of our young people have diverse professions.
I do hope you were jotting down those important career tips. I'll leave this quote with you. Have a vision of life that inspires you. Then try every day to grow closer to the fulfillment of that vision. All the best.
Life is all about making decisions, choosing from a number of options to do a particular thing, which may result in a specific outcome.
It can be difficult, but there are 4 things you can do to help make that decision.
Stop. Check out what's happening and remind yourself to think before acting.
Think. Make sure you're aware of the choices, all the advantages and disadvantages. Then think about the consequences. Act.
Choose the best option and do something about it.
Review.
Finally, review what you have done and determine if it was good or bad. That way, you'll be in a better position to make the next decision, whether big or simple.
In every developed society, it is important that the rights of the workers are protected at all times. And that's exactly what the National HIV and AIDS Workplace Policy of Jamaica seeks to do. Protect the rights of workers and employers and provide a decent working environment for all.
I am beautiful, no matter what they say.
It's a statistic that may shock some. Over 30,000 persons in Jamaica are living with HIV, and as much as 28% are unaware of their status. Now, the fact is, while there has been a decline in the numbers in the past decade,
Both HIV and AIDS remain as major threats to the world of work, affecting the most productive sector, persons in the 15 to 49 age group. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security has taken action to ensure that these persons are protected from stigma and discrimination through the National Workplace Policy on HIV and AIDS. Jamaica is fast becoming the place of choice to do business, and as par for the course, the condition of our working environment is continuously evolving. One major feat is the drafting of Jamaica's Occupational Safety and Health Act.
The enactment of the Act is going to mean a drastic change for Jamaica. Consistently, we have been named as the country with one of the lowest productivity rate. Bringing occupational safety and health into Jamaica is going to ensure us that there are going to be changes in our productivity rate.
The bill, which is currently at an advanced stage of the drafting process, will cover workers in all areas of economic activity. The National Workplace Policy on HIV and AIDS was approved by Parliament in July 2010. It is the result of tripartite consultation among the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, representing the government, the Jamaica Employers Federation, which represents employers, and the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Union, representing workers.
The tripartite approach by government relates to good labor relations and industrial practices. Jamaica has been a signatory of the International Labour Organization since 1962, and we're signatories to a number of conventions which dictate that in implementing any new policy or laws as it relates to labor, we must adopt a tripartite approach.
The policy seeks to assist in the elimination of stigma and discrimination directed at persons infected with and affected by HIV and AIDS, and by extension, encourage equal employment opportunities for this segment of our workforce.
By extension, the population not to discriminate against persons infected with and affected by HIV and AIDS. And by discrimination, we include access to occupational health schemes, and so a worker is not to be required to undergo mandatory testing to access group health insurance, for instance. We also recognize cross-cutting issues such as gender and economic background as issues that might impact on the response in the workplace.
As such, the policy is guided by 10 key principles: HIV/AIDS as a workplace issue, non-discrimination, gender equality, healthy work environment, social dialogue and cooperation, non-screening for purposes of exclusion from employment and work processes, confidentiality, continuation of employment, prevention of transmission, and care and support. This tripartite team has been collaborating with other stakeholders to include non-governmental organizations and other public information channels to educate the public and implement the principles of the policy.
The Jamaica Network of Seropositive JN+ is a key partner, and they actually sometimes are at the helm of where we start with engaging persons. And we work hand in hand with the National Family Planning Board, which is where the National HIV program is housed. And so our seat on the country coordinating mechanism works with that entity. And then we have other civil society partners.
In 2006, the Jamaica Employers Federation created what is known as the Jamaica Business Council on HIV and AIDS. We thought that it was very prudent to create this JABCHA. JABCHA was the business response, as I said, not only seeking to have the word of the employers out there, but also creating best practices. And so we came up with two publications: HIV and AIDS, What Every Employer Should Know, and then we also had a HIV and AIDS handbook. From there, we also worked with the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Labour.
What the Confederation has been doing since 2008, when the Green Paper was being circulated, was to have wide consultation with all the unions across Jamaica. It went as far as regional, where Barbados had workshops and invited the regional heads. In Trinidad, we had workshops where we invited collective bargaining unit officers, where we tried to ensure that moving forward in implementation of the collective heads of agreement, that they will put a clause in it to force employers or to say, make them more accountable and responsible to make sure these policies are implemented in the workplace to protect the workers.
The successful implementation of the policy would not have been possible without technical and financial support. The ministry has absorbed some of the costs by implementing the policy in existing training programs. Funding has, however, been supplemented by various national and international entities.
The technical support mainly comes from the ILO, and of course the funding or the financing of it is US aid mainly.
The implementation of the National Workplace Policy is a work in progress. Under the Ministry's Voluntary Compliance Initiative, companies are periodically assessed to ensure they meet the expected requirements. Additionally, the policy is subject to review over a 5-year period by an independent team of the National HIV and STI Program in collaboration with the tripartite team. Sanctions will be outlined for any company that breaches the principles. The enforcement mechanism for ensuring adherence to the principles outlined in the policy will be fully in place when regulations treating with HIV and AIDS are appended to the OSH Act. For the time being, the Ministry of Labour and Social Security encourages employers and workers alike to support the spirit of the policy in good faith in all aspects of the work relationship. Voluntary compliance certificates have been awarded to entities for their demonstrated awareness of HIV and AIDS as a workplace issue, as well as those which have taken steps to address other safety health-related hazards. The VCP will be fully implemented when the OSH Act bill is enacted. The National Workplace Policy on HIV and AIDS is set to transform the working environment across Jamaica, and everyone will need to play a role by engaging the process of change to ensure decent work for all workers. So let's play our part in ensuring the safety and health of our nation's workers, which will impact overall productivity and our economic development agenda. Jamaica's National Workplace Policy on HIV and AIDS, a bold step towards equal rights and sustainable development.
Wait, hold on. Colin, hey, what go on? You know, say, I'm on my way to go look about the farm work program. Aye, I love to do the farm work program there, you know. But remember, I serve a 5-year prison sentence for a minor crime. Them can clear it, you know.
Yes, Colin can get his record expunged. Expungement is having a conviction removed from your criminal record after certain specifications have been met. Visit the Criminal and Civil Justice Division in the Ministry of Justice for more information.
Youth entrepreneurship is being encouraged by public and private sector organizations as a means of driving economic growth and development and job creation. Take out your books and pencils and jot down these entrepreneurship options and ideas that you can pursue.
The foundations of corporate empires are usually rooted in the minds of young, bright men and women who've dared the risks of becoming entrepreneurs. First, identifying opportunities that can create wealth, products and services that are in demand, and meeting those needs with unique innovation. Planning and establishing a business is no easy task, and operating successfully for any extended period is an even tougher job. But Jamaica's youth entrepreneurship policy and strategy gives young people with good business ideas a chance to operate more thriving long-term businesses and create their own income. Youth entrepreneurship is encouraged by both public and private organizations. It is also being fostered within schools and communities to instill the business bug early. And with more young persons owning businesses, they'd be helping to drive economic development and job creation, all of which can make a difference in the lives of other people. And that explains why support has been growing in areas of financing for startup and business experience. Government over the years has established various agencies for helping the youth set up and run their businesses. The National Center for Youth Development, NCYD, for example, continues to empower youth in entrepreneurship. Both attached and unattached young people are able to benefit from access to information through the establishment of youth information centers across the island and various programs that include training. Government has partnered with organizations such as Jamaica Youth Business Trust to provide venture capital funds for persons under the age of 30, collateral requirement being only a sound business plan and a willingness to accept a mentor from the private sector. There is also the Youth Entrepreneurship Program, YEP, giving school leavers at the secondary and tertiary levels with strong entrepreneurial spirits the benefit of training and access to financing. Youths also have access to various business support services provided by the Jamaica Business Development Corporation, the premier business support organization. From the conception of a business idea, young entrepreneurs can get help through the stages of developing the business, planning, financing, starting, marketing, and growing. Indeed, the window of opportunity is open for all youths to access business support at the highest professional levels.
Hi, I'm Tarek Wright, and I'm here to talk to you about an issue that a lot of children are faced with today, and that is bullying in schools. Generally, it takes the form of repeated, unwanted, aggressive behavior from one child to the next. I know you may not want to admit it, but if you or one of your friends is being bullied, it has to stop. That's why I've prepared some tips on how you can rise above being bullied. 1. Talk to a teacher or principal. 2. Talk to your parents or guardians. 3. Seek help from a trusted adult. Never yell or take steps toward physical violence. 5. Also remember to never spread rumors or gossip about other people, because that is a form of bullying too. Let us all take a stand against bullying today. We can do it. I know we can.
New day is dawning, it's time to arise. We are the gene of achievement and pride.
A bold new beginning, time for action. We have the spirit to fight on. This is Jamaica, this is our land. We have our future with God in our plan. We'll play our part building this great nation. This is Jamaica, this is our land.
Let us make every effort to forge unity and resolve to work hard for our prosperity.
Leaving our children a legacy of hope, breaking the shackles and smashing the yoke.
This is Jamaica, this is our land.
This is our
We have our future with God in our plan. We'll play our part building this great nation. This is Jamaica, this
Let me hear
is
the
our
children
land.
say.
This is Jamaica, this is our land. We have our future with God in our plan. We'll play our part building this great nation. This is Jamaica. Come on, everybody, let's sing. This is Jamaica, this is our land. We have our future with God in our plan. We'll play our part building this great nation. This is Jamaica, this is our land.
And that's all we have for you today. But don't worry, another informative magazine awaits you tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that. You get the picture. We value your feedback, so please share them by emailing us at jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. You can also follow us on Twitter at JIS News or browse our website jis.gov.jm. I'm Tamara McHale. Remember, let's all play our part in making Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.